Not every .357 Magnum revolver is the best. Some are designed for pro shooters only. While most people walk into a gun store, pick up a super light revolver, and think, wow, this is perfect for my pocket. But they forget one thing. That tiny gun still has to handle a massive explosion. Today, I'm showing you 7 revolvers that look great in the display case, but feel like a hammer hitting your thumb every time you pull the trigger. Save your money and your hands and avoid these 7 wrist breakers. Number 7. Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD. The featherweight champion that hits your hand harder than it hits the target. Born from Smith & Wesson's legendary J-frame lineage, the 340 PD was the answer to a very specific question. How light can we actually make a revolver? To solve this, S&W moved away from traditional steel and turned to the aerospace industry. By using rare earth elements, they created a frame that could survive the pressure of a Magnum round without the weight of a traditional firearm, pushing the boundaries of what a snub-nose could be. Mechanically, this revolver is a lightweight engineering showcase. Its scandium alloy frame and titanium cylinder keep the total weight down to an astonishing 11.8 ounces without sacrificing durability. The gun follows the Centennial pattern with a fully enclosed hammer, giving it a clean, snag-free profile ideal for concealed carry. It also features a bright fiber optic front sight, making it easier to lock onto the target quickly in fast-moving defensive situations. The 340 PD is a victim of its own success. Because it is so light, there is zero mass to soak up the energy of a .357 Magnum cartridge. When you pull the trigger, the gun doesn't just recoil, it snaps back with a violent, stinging force that can cause bullet jump, where the lead actually pulls out of the casing in the other chambers and jams the gun. It is technically brilliant, but physically exhausting to fire more than 5 times. For $1,150, you're buying a top-tier tool that most people are too scared to actually practice with. Number 6. Ruger LCR 357 Magnum. A masterpiece of engineering with a trigger like silk and a recoil like a mule kick. When Ruger released the LCR in 2009, it shook the industry by doing the unthinkable, making a revolver out of plastic. Ruger's engineers weren't just trying to be different, they were trying to solve the snappy trigger pull and heavy weight issues that plagued small concealed carry guns for decades. It was a bold move that successfully dragged the wheel gun into the 21st century using modern manufacturing. This isn't your grandfather's 6-shooter. The LCR uses a unique 3-piece construction, a polymer fire control housing, an aerospace-grade aluminum frame, and a high-strength stainless steel cylinder that's heavily fluted to shave off every possible gram. It's famous for its friction-reducing cam trigger, which is arguably the smoothest out-of-the-box double-action pull on the market. Weighing in at 17.1 ounces, it's a high-tech blend of steel and polymer designed for deep concealment. The LCR is a fantastic gun in .38 Special, but in .357 Magnum, it's a different beast entirely. While the polymer frame is designed to flex and soak up some energy, there just isn't enough weight to keep the muzzle down. The recoil is incredibly fast. It doesn't push, it snaps. For many shooters, the combination of a lightweight frame and a small grip leads to hand slap so severe it can make your follow-up shots nearly impossible to aim accurately. You'll be looking at a price of roughly $800 to put this polymer snub-nose in your pocket, though your hands might wish you'd spent that money elsewhere. Number 5. Taurus 605 Poly Protector. A polymer-wrapped powerhouse that proves affordable and comfortable aren't always on the same team. Taurus has built a reputation for taking high-end concepts and making them accessible to the everyday shooter. The 605 Poly Protector was their entry into the space-age revolver market, following the trend of using polymer to cut weight for concealed carry. It was designed specifically for the person who wants a modern, lightweight .357 for self-defense without having to pay the luxury tax of the bigger American brands. The design of this revolver blends modern materials with traditional mechanics. Its polymer over-molded steel frame keeps the weight down while still giving the gun a solid internal structure, and the stainless steel cylinder and barrel insert ensure the pressure-bearing components remain durable and dependable. It also stands out by retaining an exposed hammer, giving shooters the flexibility of both single-action and double-action operation. Weighing roughly 20 ounces, it strikes a balance between comfort and control, avoiding both both the heaviness of full steel revolvers and the sharp recoil of ultralight carry guns. While the 605 Poly is a solid budget option, it's a handful with full-power magnums. The grip geometry is often criticized for being a bit blocky, which focuses the recoil energy into the webbing of your hand rather than spreading it out. Because it's light and the polymer is relatively rigid, you get a sharp, vibrating sting with every shot. It's a gun that many people buy for the price tag, only to realize they only want to shoot 38 specials through it. With a street price hovering around $400, it's one of the most budget-friendly ways to step into a .357 Magnum. Just remember, part of that low price comes in the form of a little extra punishment to your hands at the range. Number 4. Charter Arms Mag Pug. No fancy alloys, no high-tech plastics, just raw steel and a recoil that doesn't hold back. Charter Arms has been the underdog of the American revolver world since the 1960s. While other companies were chasing military contracts or high-end collectors, Charter Arms focused on the civilian who needed a reliable, affordable tool for the nightstand. The Mag Pug was their answer to the demand for a compact .357 that stripped away all the fluff to provide a pure, utilitarian self-defense option. This is a strictly all-steel construction revolver, which is rare for a gun this size. It uses a unique one-piece frame design that's simpler and has fewer moving parts than a Smith or a Ruger. It features a 2.2-inch ported barrel, a desperate attempt to bleed off some of that Magnum gas to keep the muzzle down. Weighing in at 23 ounces, it's a dense little chunk of stainless steel with a traditional spurred hammer and a basic fixed sight system. The Mag Pug is built like a tank, but it's a very small tank. Even with the ported barrel, the physics of a 23-ounce gun meeting a .357 Magnum round are not in your favor. The biggest issue is the grip profile. It's notoriously thin and narrow. Instead of the recoil being absorbed by the gun, it's funneled directly into the small bones of your hand. It's a reliable gun, but after 5 rounds of full-house Magnums, you'll feel like you've been playing catch with a brick. For about $420, this rugged snubnose offers an affordable entry into serious revolver power. The downside? Your hands may start negotiating for padded gloves halfway through the range day. Number 3. Kimber K6S 2-inch barrel. 6 rounds of Magnum power in a package so small your hand will wonder what hit it. When Kimber, a company famous for high-end 1911s, announced they were making a revolver, the industry held its breath. The K6S was their grand entrance, designed specifically to fix the 5-shot limitation of most small revolvers. Kimber's engineers wanted to create the world's thinnest 6-shot .357 Magnum, bringing modern CNC machining and custom shop quality to a platform that hadn't seen much innovation in decades. This gun is a jewel of all stainless steel construction. It features a remarkably low-profile push-button cylinder release and a cylinder that is flatted to keep the gun as slim as possible for concealed carry. The standout feature is the match-grade trigger, which is arguably the best factory double-action pull ever put into a production snub-nose. At 23 ounces, it's solid, but when you pair that weight with a tiny 2-inch barrel, you're in for a very spirited shooting experience. The K6S is a victim of its own elegance. Because it is so sleek and slim, there isn't much surface area for your hand to grab onto. While the 23-ounce steel frame helps more than plastic does, the short 2-inch barrel creates a massive amount of muzzle blast and a very snappy recoil impulse. It's a precision tool, but in a .357 chambering, it's like trying to hold onto a vibrating power tool that's trying to jump out of your palm. It's great for the holster, but exhausting for the range. You can expect to spend about $1,050 for this level of high-end revolver engineering, but the sharp recoil of full .357 Magnum loads means a lot of owners prefer using 38 specials for regular range time. Number 2. Smith & Wesson Model 360 PD, the lightest .357 on the planet that makes you pay for every ounce you save in pure recoil. The 360 PD is the exposed hammer sibling to the 340 PD we discussed earlier. It represents Smith & Wesson's absolute peak in the weight versus power war. By utilizing scandium alloy, a material more commonly found in high-end bicycle frames and fighter jets, S&W was able to create a frame that could theoretically withstand the massive pressures of the .357 Magnum while weighing almost nothing. It was designed for the professional who needs a gun they can carry 16 hours a day without a second thought. This revolver is an engineering showcase in lightweight metallurgy. Its scandium-reinforced alloy frame, paired with a titanium cylinder, keeps the total weight at an astonishing 11.7 ounces, making it feel almost unreal in the hand for a .357 Magnum. Unlike many ultra-light defensive revolvers, the 360 PD keeps an exposed spurred hammer, giving the shooter the option of precise single-action fire in addition to double-action shooting. Up front, it typically wears a bright HIVIZ-style fiber optic sight designed to stay visible even as the muzzle snaps upward under recoil. The 360 PD lives on the edge of what is physically possible. Because it's so incredibly light, it has no inertia to fight back against the explosion of a Magnum round. The result is a recoil so sharp it's been known to cause bullet jump, where the bullets in the remaining chambers are literally shaken out of their casings, jamming the cylinder. For the shooter, it feels like a sharp metal rod being driven into your wrist. It's a gun you carry for the what-if, but you rarely shoot for the fun of it. At $1,150, you're paying a premium to essentially get punched in the hand every time you go to the range. Number 1. Smith & Wesson Model 327 Performance Center. 8 rounds of .357 power in a package that looks like a snub nose but kicks like a cannon. The Model 327 comes from Smith & Wesson's Elite Performance Center, where they take standard designs and push them to the absolute limit. This specific model was built on the massive N frame, the same frame used for the legendary .44 Magnum Dirty Harry guns, but with a twist. S&W's engineers wanted to create a high-capacity, combat-ready snub-nose that offered 8 shots instead of the traditional 6, utilizing modern alloys to keep it light enough for carry. This is a metallurgical hybrid designed for high-end performance. It features a scandium alloy frame paired with a titanium alloy cylinder, allowing it to hold 8 rounds of .357 Magnum while weighing only 22.6 ounces. It sports a 2-inch stainless steel barrel and a custom-tuned action for an incredibly smooth trigger pull. To top it off, it often comes with a shrouded barrel design and wood grips that look beautiful but offer very little in the way of shock absorption. The 327 Performance Center is essentially a lightweight end frame that shouldn't feel possible. It delivers 8 rounds in a frame normally associated with heavier, softer shooting revolvers, but shaves the weight down to roughly 22 ounces. That combination makes it extremely compact and capable, but also challenging with Magnum loads. The short barrel produces significant muzzle blast, and the recoil comes as a deep, rolling push rather than a quick snap, something that can feel surprisingly physical in the hand after a few shots. Priced at a hefty $1,500, it's a massive investment for a gun that most people find too aggressive for a fun day at the range. So if you're looking for a revolver that you'll actually enjoy owning, never buy these 7 guns. They might look cool and feel weightless in your pocket, but the moment you pull the trigger, you'll realize why they're always sitting in the used cabinet at the gun shop. Find a gun that's built for the human hand, not just a marketing brochure. What's the most painful gun you've ever had the misfortune of firing? Let's talk about it in the comments. If this list saved your wrists from a terrible mistake, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching and take care.